Welcome back to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. I'm your host, CL The Source. Thank you once again for tuning in to another episode. And today I got a special guest with me all the way from Jersey. Man, this man right here, we connected on Instagram. I think I just came across one of his posts talking about collabing on his podcast. And then we got to rapping, just kind of, getting to know each other a little bit. And then we, situated all the logistics. And here we are on January, what is it today? The 28th of 2022. And I'm sitting here with my man, Trev Smoove. Trev Smoove, what's good, my dude?
Hey, what's happening, man? Everything is good, man. I appreciate you having me come through here and, be able to explain a little bit what's up with Smoove and everything. I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to reaching out, man. And just so you know, it's all about the hashtags. That's how he found me. So make sure y'all work on those hashtags. And, you're going to run into the right people sometimes who are looking for, things like you, and you might find some like-minded people.
Definitely. And Trev, man, I want to thank you for being on here as well, man. And prior to recording, man, I let you know personally that I in preparation of this, man, I took a look at a lot of your work, man, from your series that you had. I think it was a couple years back called 95 South.
It's 95 series. 95 series.
There we go. We go. I watched that. I watched a couple of your podcasts. I skimmed through your Instagram, and I really like what you've been really promoting on some of the tweets that you've kind of reposted on your Instagram lately, man. It seems like a lot of really good uplifting type of stuff that anybody could use. You know what I'm saying? Very valuable information. I think I saw one where it said that this was like the first time in however long that you actually didn't get drunk on New Year's. And for me, that stood out to me because I haven't been doing that for about maybe 5-6 years now, because I kind of felt like the need to, rather than roll into the new year all hungover, I'd rather be clear-minded, energetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
I'm a late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer, so it took me a very long time to get that. And I stay on my juice game, and I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. But as far as getting blasted to where you're going to take away from your production the next day, I can't do that no more. Can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Every minute counts right now. So that's the main thing, is to constantly be productive for me, because the harder I work right now, the more time I have to relax later, God willing,
Absolutely.
Productivity is extremely important.
Before we kind of open that up, I'm curious, how did you kind of get to that conclusion? Because same with you, man, I'm a late bloomer myself. I didn't really kind of start drinking. I stopped drinking and decided not to roll into the new year. But I feel like more recently, I started to become more aware of what you just said, of just kind of the more I have being productive, the more fruits I'm going to kind of be able to bear a little later on. How did you kind of draw that conclusion, man?
I just got a different feeling this year. And about a decade ago, I made a resolution that I would no longer make any resolutions. And for me, because I'm like, I should be doing something all year round, right? I shouldn't wait till the new year to try to get in. But I'm not sure how much you are into like the astrology stuff or anything like that. But the way things are going is kind of set up for me in my life, and a lot of people this year. I'm a big numbers guy too, so that made me kind of pay attention to it. But I already just started getting feelings. Certain people who held certain positions in my life don't anymore. Certain people who were not part of it are, and different things are happening between my life, my family's life, where the stars are lining up, where I have a newfound energy and determination right now that I know that this is about to happen for me. And I don't care who doesn't believe it. I already know this is definitely happening. Like this year, if you talk to me 12 months from now, you'd be like, damn, how'd you know that? And I go with intuition. I've been getting bigger on intuition. Some things, the more you trust your intuition, the more it'll show you. And certain things, I don't want to get too crazy, but it runs really, really, really deep with intuition, where I'm starting to understand things a lot more and following it and trusting it. And the more I do, the more I'm rewarded. So I just go with that.
Man, you know what? That's not crazy at all to me. I'll keep it a full ass buck with you right now. That relates to me so heavy because I mean, I'm not super into the astrology thing, but I will tell you, I do read my horoscope every day on Spotify.
Okay.
I listen to my daily horoscope, and it's so crazy to me that a lot of it, most oftentimes actually, whatever the message is that day, it pertains to me. So I feel like there's some bigger divine reason. And similar to you, man, like things have started to align for me too. And I'm starting to just pay
Okay.
attention to that energy, to the signs. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And it hasn't led me astray so far, man. So I'm gonna keep
Then it
following
won't.
that path and that intuition that you highlighted. And that's dope, man. So I'm curious for you, man, with this intuitive kind of feeling that you get, how do you constantly listen to it when there's so much noise out here? Because for me, I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes I struggle everywhere you go, especially in today's world. There's always so much bad news, man. So what do you do to kind of just get that
Well,
tunnel vision?
listen, with intuition, once you learn to understand it a little bit, it's just don't think about anything. That first instinct that you get, you follow it. Don't think it. You already have enough rationale in your own mind to know what's crazy and what's not. You're going to get a feeling right away. As long as you have those type of responsible behaviors, you're not going to make a bad decision with your intuition. You know what I'm saying? If you have a lot of bad habits and you make really horrible choices, maybe not, you might want to think a bit, but how I am right now, how I've trained myself, when I get that feeling, it's like, go. And I'm talking about, it runs deep. Like I could be, there's certain lights that you might take and certain lights you won't. Every time I decide not to and to just no, to stop without thinking about it, the cop be the first one at the light on the other side waiting. Like, so he would have definitely threw the cherries on behind me. Like I'm talking about that deep. Something as simple as that, or something as simple as following a business, a decision behind it, or should I get with this person? They're gonna be a good link. Are they positive? You know what I'm saying? So I follow that, particularly with people now. If you show me a sign of who you are right away, I'm gonna believe you, because I've tried to help people and guide people and change people. And some people I have been able to help with their lives, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, and patience. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you're not going to be rewarded for it. And I'm not looking for a reward. My reward is to see that you do better. But with that, I've had a lot of betrayal and flakiness and different things. So I'm extremely careful as to who I do that with now. When somebody shows me some type of behavior that I understand is negative, and I see them do something to some person, then I know I'm not special and my turn is coming. It never has been wrong yet. It's the only thing that's difference is the amount of time it takes. When you see somebody do something to another person, then your turn is coming. How you meet that person and how they are, they're going to do the same thing. So if they treat people well and they're considerate, compassionate, and whatever you want around you, if you want drive, you want determination, whatever they are that attracts you to them, if you see that, then cool. But don't ever help someone at the expense of yourself, because you're going to pay for it.
Damn, that's a truth bomb right there. Real talk, man. And I'm a firm believer in everything you just said, man. And I couldn't agree more, because we as human beings, especially in our kind of riper state that we're in right now,
Okay.
right? When I was younger, I feel like I was a lot more resilient to certain things like that. I'll be able to bounce back from taking an L, even if I kind of overcommitted myself, overextended myself. But now, especially because my vision is much more clear, my goals are bigger, I feel like I got to protect my energy, because we got a finite amount of it each
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then similar to what you saying, right, Smoove? Like you got big goals. You know what I'm saying? You got things that you're looking to really accomplish. And it's
Absolutely.
really going to be very difficult to do that if you're just lending your energy to the wrong type of other energy that's going to, you know what I'm saying, extract too much of that or attack that energy. So I hear you
Yeah,
loud and clear, man.
that's important. That's extremely important. Like that, I'll run by. There's certain principles that I go by. That's one of them. Don't ever help someone at the expense of yourself. That's one of my things, and I've never used to practice that because I wanted to help everybody. Like you said, that same word, overextend myself. But you got to know when to fold them. Sometimes you have to know what your limit is, and you can't do things that are counterproductive, because you won't make it. You know, when we start, I'll tell you now. first, my first venture into this, like trying to get into the entertainment industry, is it was something I wanted to do since I was a child, really, but it didn't seem practical. I watched my parents work, and work, and to me that was a result. So I got my work ethic from them. But as far as like going out there and doing it, I never did. My mother did tell me, like when I was younger, like, yeah, do whatever you want, you follow your passion, and you can do it. So I'm grateful for that. But it never seemed practical. Like for me, it always seemed more practical to go for the day job. But then certain things happen, like 08 happened. You're like, damn, just certain times you're like, damn, my job could just go away. These guys could fire me at any point. There goes pension, there goes 401k, there goes your money. Like, what are you gonna do? And I would rather have my destiny in my own hands versus someone else's ultimately. You know what I mean? So at this point, the job or jobs that I do, the 9 to 5s, right? They are more so plan B. My plan A is to forge my own path. Because what I did, when I started out, right, years ago, I got serious about it maybe in 2014, or semi-serious. I thought I was serious. I was serious about it. I had the passion and the drive and the determination, but didn't have the game. It took me a very long time to understand it because I didn't have any peers that were ahead of me that would pull my coat. I saw a couple people make it, but when they do, you're gone. You know what I mean? Nobody's there to like put you on. And I never really asked for anybody to put me on. I never put myself out there like that. I have no problem grinding it and doing it the long way. But the first thing I did was I managed artists and producers. And because I had no desire to be in the limelight, I just wanted to do, I really wanted to write. That's all I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Right. But I was asked to manage a producer first. And I was like, because I learned to film because I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to learn how to do my own stories because I understood how the script game worked. And you could send yours in and it's going to go in a whole pile like this. And it's never going to see the light of day. Most of them don't even get seen at all or read, never. So you'd have to submit that script to everywhere a whole bunch of times. If you look at Squid Games, he got rejected for 10 years before that came out. Look how that hit. He got rejected for 10 years.
Wow.
I know that person wanted to kick himself who did that, but it's like, think about it. If that could have just not made it and it was worthy. So imagine if I'm just coming out, just starting up, you never know. So I was like, I'm just going to try to learn how to do the other aspects of it. So I bought me a little computer, got some programs, got a camera, and just started playing around with it just so I can kind of exhibit or showcase my talent as a writer. And then I was going around, I was filming like the producers and artists, and they were like, oh yeah, this is good. Like you can do it. And then I made a couple music videos that were pretty deep, and just the cinematography of it and the composition were my strong points. Cause that's kind of like still writing. You're just putting it together. You know what I mean? I was a little flaky on the filming aspect. I just now really, really got pretty good with the filming and lighting and you know what I mean? All of that. I've always been at least a decent editor though. Cause it just came to me, you know what I mean? So with all of that, nothing really went well with that. That's why I came up with the series though, because I had managed a few artists and I said, hey, we got enough manpower to do a movie. It was some of their ideas. You should come out. We should just come up with a film because they would always watch like, like how New York used to do it with like Paid in Full and all of that. You would see those type of movies. So they were thinking something on the lines of that. But I'm like, we don't have the resources right now. We need more people than we did. And then I got one of my homies, Sharpshooter. He had to connect with his cousin to Philly. So we started out with Jersey Philly connection, and then my brother, he hit me up and said, hey, I got this guy in Virginia. He got a whole lot of people that's really, really down to do it. So we got to Virginia by like the third episode. Virginia was in the series. We all were doing that. Now, it's tough because you're managing a lot of personalities. And there's no budget to pay people. I spent probably $50,000 on that production between, the 11 episodes, close to that, right? But it's like none of it went to cast. But if you were an artist, I'll tell you this, if you were an artist and you had your music in there, which I gave everybody an opportunity for their music to be in every scene that they were in. If you had your joint, let's say you used TuneCore and it was licensed, you got paid. Some of the artists told me, hey, we got paid. So you could have gotten paid that way. Although I couldn't make a dime for it because I would have had to monetize it. Because YouTube started throwing ads on it. Once the views started going up, YouTube was throwing ads on it like crazy. So they were able to get paid. I couldn't get a dime because I would have had to submit it to them for monetization. And it was so crazy that I know they were going to not only reject it, but possibly take it down altogether. So I was I don't want to take the chance at even trying to monetize it because it's just too. Some of the stuff we did, man, I don't know how much you were able to watch, but some of those kill scenes are outrageous. We showed a lot. So
man, it was raw, man. It was some in there. I was like, damn, I really feel
how'd
like
they get this on YouTube?
I really felt like I was in the hood in Philly and Jersey, like in the
yeah,
and like,
well, in certain instances we were. Some of those were live, areas. Like we were really in with it, and you got to understand with that, you can't just go film there. You got to deal with the politics of that. You have to make sure you get with the big homies and you got to get the pass. You can't just go in there. You know what I mean? But fortunately, we have a real good network and everybody was really cooperative. And one thing that I always did, I said, listen, if you got people that want to be extras in this joint, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? So we offered them that at least. So if they wanted to say, hey, look, I was in 95, that was another thing too. I always said I'll offer something, you know what I'm saying? Even if we can't give you no dialogue, at least you can show your face. You don't have to have any acting skills towards that. And it's not going to take anything away from it. And it's only going to add to the authenticity of it. You know what I mean? So, and that was the main thing. It was pretty good on production. It got a lot better towards the end. But as far as authenticity, a lot of people felt that, like, damn, this is like, it had that Grinch to it that would attract people. Some people just like films like that just because it's different. It wasn't as Hollywood. We did certain things that were Hollywood, but the whole thing wasn't Hollywood. It was more like real.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that you saying what you just said right now gave me an extra level of appreciation for it because I do understand that going into situations like that, like actual trap houses, actual places.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, that not just anybody can go in there, especially with all the, the filming equipment and all that stuff. Like, you got to get a pass. So like, aside from everything else that you had to do with it, that was huge. Not just anybody.
That's a whole nother element, man. It's a whole nother element. I took a lot of risks, financial risk, injury risks, legal risks, like a lot of risks to make that happen. But I was hell bent on the idea of making something great. So, and I feel like we did. It gave us all a decent amount of recognition. Our Instagram started going hard. We started getting decent following behind it and everything else. So I was like, hey, man, and everybody has something to put. And it's still growing with subscribers, which is crazy. Like we didn't do it in years and it's still growing in subscribers. So I'm like, hey, I almost want to drop something else, but it's a lot. I'm going to be working on film again. I'm going to get back to that, but I'm going to do it on a more one hit and then be out. Not so where it's like films, you know what I'm saying? We'll do a movie style where we could shoot it over a long weekend, like a Thursday to a Monday or something like that. And then, all right, we're out of here. Now it's all in my hands. I do the post-production, boom. You know what I'm saying? Because people were really, really excited and hyped about it in the beginning, but you grow fatigue after a while, and it's tough dealing with that. And then we had active beefs with, some members of the cast with other members of the cast couldn't work with each other anymore. So I had to write around that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Some things sometimes I had to make adjustments on the fly, and it's tough because I had the whole story planned out all the way down. There's a lot of elements that I had all the way down, like into episode 10, how it's going to end. Certain things I had to modify based on relationships that people had or didn't have with each other. So it got complicated, way more complicated than, because I was doing every aspect of it. I had my homeboy Sharpshooter. He was doing a lot of the filming with me, right? My homeboy Joe Green Films, he was the dude who taught me. He helped a little bit in the beginning, but as far as skill set, him and my homeboy Brian, these are guys who like showed me the way as far as how to like film and all of that shit. Like, so I got with them. But as far as the series is concerned, me and Sharpshooter handled most of it. I was there to film every single scene. If you didn't see me on the camera, I was filming that bitch. Period. I wrote the entire script. I edited a very good portion. Sharpshooter good with editing too, so he was there a lot. And promotion, all of us kind of promoted it. So, I had to learn every aspect of it. And then I was on the camera too, which I didn't want to do, but we were so short-handed in the beginning that my crew was like, come on, man, we need every head we can get. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. We'll do it then. But it made it a little more complicated, but it was fun to get that part of it. And I had to actually work on another craft and try to get better and make sure that is convincing and everything else. But I mean, we got through it, man, and it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And kudos to you, man, for pushing through all the different obstacles you had to go through. Cause I can only imagine, already having a plan in your head, let alone trying to execute that. And then, you're reaching all sorts of different curveballs being thrown at you, and you have to kind of adjust.
Oh, yeah.
And for you to do that and come out on the other end and executed your plan and achieve the success that you did independently, start from wherever you started, that is dope. That is commendable, my man. I mean, now I'm curious from everything you just said, man. And prior to us recording, I did say that I could tell you're a man that wears many hats. So out of all the different things that you do in regards to this creative outlets, all these different creative outlets that you kind of work through, what would you say is your favorite?
I kind of find myself in the podcast world. And I can tell you why. It requires very few people. And that's one of the main reasons. But the best reason for it is the way that I'm going about it now is bringing awareness to mental health and relationships. Those are two things that us as humans struggle with like crazy, particularly now in this whole pandemic season and everything. Mental health, it's spiking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were depressed, you're super depressed. If you had anxiety, you have super anxiety. This is only going to amplify any one of those type of situations that you had. So my whole goal and what I do, we make light of certain things, we have fun, we joke, but it's a very serious matter. We present it in a way that people can consume. So you have to entertain them. But at the end of the day, we ask these questions: why, how? You know what I mean? Because even myself, I'm absolutely guilty of it. Just say, oh man, that motherfucker's crazy. Or, you know what I mean? Just chuck it off as a personality flaw or something. But it's deeper than that. There's a reason why this person got to that point, right? So I ask these questions like, what was your childhood like? Was your father there? That's a big deal. People with this single mother stuff, man, it's crazy. You can't do it alone. If you look at 73% of the incarceration, people who are incarcerated, they're from single parents, period. And most of it is, think about that number. 73% are from single parent households. That's staggering when you think about it. So you take something like that into consideration. You take or just the everyday things, how people are dealing with, like the people who are depressed. Why are you depressed? What is it? What's up? I had to learn how to understand anxiety, how to understand depression, how to understand somebody who's dealing with being bipolar, and just develop a lot of patience. I actually know a lot of people who I deal with personally who have and continue to struggle with a lot of those issues. And, I try to help as much as I can. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I can tell you I've definitely walked a couple of people off the bridge, you know what I'm saying? Figuratively. So, it is what it is. Sometimes they may not listen to a doctor. Sometimes some people go to school, but then they just don't know how, they're not relatable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's another situation. So if you know somebody personally that might be struggling with that, you can help them. And my whole thing is to make the world, or as much of the world that I can touch, understand it. So that's why we bring these things up and we ask these questions so people can have an understanding of it. Because there's always a reason, and people shouldn't just dismiss it or say like, yeah, fuck it, man, they crazy. I don't know, it's not everyone's problem, but how about if you look at the amount of people who are struggling with it, somebody is for sure. Somebody in your immediate family is. somebody you're in a relationship with is. And if you have an understanding of it, maybe you'll be a little bit more patient with them. You know what I mean? Maybe you could help them and they can help you. So that's my whole goal with that, is to have fun with it and get some results, see what we can do for people. And as I get more resources, once this starts to pay me instead of me paying for it, then I'm going to put my money where my mouth is as well. I'm going to want to take some of those resources and put it into helping people for real. But it's a lot of fun. We do that. There are some episodes when I first started out in particular where I went hard and I was badgering women or kind of scolding them and everything, because sometimes that's a whole nother topic. I went at it with some females to the point where a couple left. But I got a good one now who kind of gets me. But we went back and forth about the relationships and just how they just don't understand it, and how there's a sense of entitlement that a lot of women, sometimes men, they just have, because they don't really understand that they are searching for a man that's in the top 5% as far as what they want. They want somebody who's over 6 feet. They want somebody who's making 6 figures, and only 10% of men make over 6 figures, and 14% of men are over 6 feet. They don't understand these things. And then when you put them together, it makes it an even lower percentage. You know what I'm saying? And then you want them to not have the personality of a parking meter at the same time. And then you want them to have the magic stick at the same time. You're talking about 0.0000. Like at that point, when you start trying to put all of these factors in together, and then you watch these rappers and these basketball players and all that, they don't represent nowhere near what you think they represent. They're minute. You're not going to find them every day. You're not going to see them, but that's what's represented on TV, and social media has only magnified that. Like right now, you would think that there's a lot of people who are rich because people who post always want to look like they're rich. You would think that everybody's beautiful because everybody who posts puts a filter on, or takes a half hour to get the right angle to make them look good. So, it's only making us become more superficial, and it's really taking away from reality, because it's giving us a false perception of what things are. So I try to bring reality to people, let them realize what you're really dealing with, and some of the qualities that you probably should be looking for that would offer you more enrichment and satisfaction. You're not, but you're looking for these superficial things to please other people because it's a good look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's interesting, man, because I think you're absolutely right. In today's day and age with social media, man, it's most of it is a facade. Everyone's presenting their best self. They're not necessarily showing their flawed moments. You're seeing the
Absolutely
final
not.
product. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all crafted and curated to show to glorify perfectionism. And I think
Highlight reel.
look, it's the way of the world at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's why your work, like what you're doing right now, is important to do, man. Is just to bring people back to the true scope of how things really are. You know what I'm saying? Like I make mistakes. I'm sure anybody in this world has made a mistake. If there's somebody out there that has made a mistake, let that person cast the first stone for real. But come on,
I'm not gonna find that.
Not
gonna find that.
Ain't nobody walking this God's green earth perfect, man. But I do think that doesn't mean that you can't strive to make progress and become a better person, and choose to walk that path of just becoming a better person. And it's so interesting to go back to what you were talking about with your, like your message in your podcast of how you're doing it and you're having fun, but you want to be relatable. And you mentioned something along the lines of sometimes people were not going to listen to a doctor. And I think that's absolutely true. And by no means, it's so crazy that you said that, because I relate to that so much with the work that I'm choosing to do as well, because I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD, none of that stuff. I'm just I'm an average guy that's just choosing to try to be better and do better and help make the world a better place in my own way of doing so. But I also feel like we all have a unique language that only certain people can understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like your specific energy, once you put it out there and somebody grasps wind of that stuff, like it could really be a game changer for them. Like because we may not always be able to relate to some of the people that we even see on TV because they're just so far out there, and then people are so in the weeds. So I think it's important to hear real voices too, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what I will say is that in many cases, right, and I would dare to say most cases, a lot of people who are able to become doctors, there are some people who work for it, right? But a lot of times that's in your lineage, man. And some of these people might be a lot more privileged than your average person, right? Again, there are some people who definitely work towards it and get theirs. Understood. But that's not the overwhelming majority. A lot of people who get into these great schools and become doctors and graduate from Harvard and Yale and everything else, they're pretty privileged. And they're not going to be as relatable, man, because part of it is they're not going to have that perspective. You know what I'm saying? They will not have that perspective. There's certain things that I've experienced on my own that I can offer perspective. I'm from the hood. I've been around all different kinds. I've been to third world countries. You know what I'm saying? Where what we conceive as uh, poverty is just not. It's not. It's not poverty. This is not poverty. You know what I'm saying? There are some people who are really, 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 really feeling it. But when I say there are places where there are no homeless shelters, there are no food banks, none of that. You know what I'm saying? There are no turkey drives. So that's what I'm saying, where this is kind of poverty, but not nearly what it is if you went to a third world country. It's for real. You know what I'm saying? Like no shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where you can see the bones in people. And we watch people that are homeless in the street, but they're not eating great, but you never see them with the bones out, man. I don't know what y'all got in the West Coast out there, but we don't see them with the bones out, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level of poverty. So, you know, and some things you just have to see, some things you just have to experience, you have to be around. And I don't mind doing any of that. And it's not very much I fear. I've been in a lot of situations that I could have not made it out of, and it is what it is. Um, but it's all part of my life, man. And I'll be able to share that experience with you, and I'll be able to relate to somebody else who maybe had come from that. And that's part of my work. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. The reason why I say I like this so much is because it's the most fulfilling, because I feel like I can actually help people, not only just the people who I might be talking to, because it's my biggest thing that I like to do is offer enrichment. I might not be able to give you no bread, but I'm gonna offer you some enrichment. I'm gonna give you some game. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you how to do this, how to get that, how to get your credit score right, how to do well with the ladies, how to learn a skill, teach you how to drive the stick shift, like whatever it is that I can show you, edit, camera, whatever. I'm gonna say, I'm trying to offer you some enrichment here. Let's get it. I'm gonna try to give you a skill that you can run with. See what you're good at. I think you might like this. And then throw it at you, show you the ropes, and then let you fly. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to do, is offer some enrichment. And I mean, it's fulfilling, and also helping the people to understand, because they might have somebody in their family that they might be like, damn, this person did the same type of shit. I really just shrugged them off though, but I didn't even think it was that deep. And then when you hear some of their stories and you hear how they were abused from 3 years old, 6 years old, and shit like that, and you're like, damn, they weren't even given a fair shake at life. They started out in the hole. You know what I mean? Their deck of cards, it was fucked up. So it's like, when you start to understand these type of factors, you can see how somebody can have an outcome, and they're not just all lazy bastards or just, you know what I mean, like degenerates. Sometimes people are dealt with certain things, dealt certain hands, and they have to deal with certain things, and that's what they would come up with. And it's important not to pass judgment on people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At all. So
That's
hopefully
that's
they can
important right
see
there.
that. Yeah.
That part right there is important, man. And it's interesting you said that right there, because it's something I've been learning more and more recently. You know,
Mm-hmm.
going back to what we were just talking about earlier, like whoever hasn't made a mistake, let them cast the first stone. It's like, you know,
Absolutely.
we I'm guilty of it too for a good portion of my life. I was judging people. It's kind of in our DNA, or in our makeup of who we are in our society out here. And through TV, we judging, we criticizing people and all that stuff. And we we tend to disrespect humanity by doing that, man, and not being able to see where people are coming from, and people don't get the fair chance, and it's a shame, man. And I will say that for myself, man, as I've started to practice this non-judgmental attitude, it's made me happier too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I've
because
actually,
you,
I'm like, man, like it, you might feel good in the moment for kind of like making fun of somebody and having that little brief moment of joy, or I don't even think it's joy. I just think it's some sort of ego thing where you think you're better than
yeah,
somebody
yeah, yeah,
in that
yeah,
moment. But when you're genuinely like compassionate, caring, and understanding towards people, and you're not, you're looking at it from a non-judgmental perspective, you so much happiness increases in your life. At least I noticed that for myself. Do you feel that same
well,
way?
yeah. Well, that's negative energy. So yeah, you're not gonna you'll get a temporary fix. It's almost like drinking. You're gonna get your hangover. You know what I mean? You cool during the time, but then afterward, you're like, that. It's not fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? You can't like most people are not gonna feel good about doing that to somebody later. You know what I mean? As a human being, you shouldn't. I mean, there are some people who are pretty sadistic, but most of us are not to that point where we feel good about it. A lot of people do it because sometimes they feel like um, it's easier to put somebody down than it is to lift somebody up. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, we have our fair share of like roasting and shit like that. I definitely do that.
Right.
But you know, it's gonna be because you really put something on today that you thought was fly, and no, your shit is corny, bro. Like I'm gonna do that. Not because you can't afford it, because you might work the same job I do, but yeah, that was a horrible selection. You need to get your game up. You know what I'm saying? Like that. We do that type of shit. I'm
Yeah,
not
have
gonna
fun with it, right? There's no
yeah,
malice.
yeah, that's different. Yeah, no, that's different. But at the same time, I don't do that to people who not gonna go back and forth with me. If you just sit
Right,
there and you like, nah, then I'm gonna fall back. You know what I
right.
mean? I might even apologize because I don't, you know, it's not when I do it, it's not like predatorial. It's just to like, you know what I mean? Have fun. But if you start it, I don't know what's gonna happen to you. Bro. Like if you start, don't start it.
Supreme shit
That's just how that
talker,
goes.
huh?
No, we used to do that for like a good. We would take the whole lunch. We would probably eat for 10 minutes, and we had a 40-minute lunch period. Eat for 10 minutes, and then just roast for like the rest of the 30. And I sometimes I had to go against 3 people, so
Damn.
I got my weight up. I got my weight up
Hey,
during
you know
lunch
what, man?
period.
What I think that could do for you, just and that, look, I got friends like that. We cap on each other. We clown. You know, we roast
Yeah,
each other.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but it's I think when you got relationships like that, it's based out of love because it's a different type of love. Again, there's no malice, there's no ill will in it, and I think it's beneficial if you have the right kind of mindset, right? Like if we're on the same page doing it, I feel like
mm-hmm.
it's iron sharpening iron, and because it's like, yo, like no joke, you need thick skin to live in this life, man. The world ain't always
Yeah,
gonna be easy,
absolutely.
man. I mean, look, it's gonna be some rough things that you're gonna face when you go out there into this world. That's just
Mm-hmm.
life
And
is. And once you accept that and you kind of develop the character and the strength needs to kind of get past that, I mean, you're gonna realize you're capable of some pretty incredible things, man.
so some people may not like this, but I'm gonna say it. I think bullying builds character.
Mm,
Um, it it, it'll help you to deal with adversity at a very early level. To me, that's what I think, and of course, not to the extreme. I don't think it should be to the point where um, it's extreme violence. But I mean, sometimes you might have to learn how to fight. There might be certain situations as a man you just have to defend yourself. I don't. I'm not saying people should bully, but hey, listen, it for me, I dealt with that when I was younger, and it helped me to deal with adversity. You know what I'm saying? At an early age, I didn't know what the hell to do at the time, but eventually I got it when it kept happening. You know what I'm saying? You got I learned how to fight, and then the bullying stopped, or like I learned how to roast, and then the bullying stopped because nobody. What you realize is that once people realize you can defend yourself, they kind of fall back because bullies don't really want a fair fight. You know what I'm saying? There's very few bullies who are secure enough to want a legit fight. They're insecure most of the time. So What they want is somebody who's not going to defend themselves so they can feel more powerful. You know what I'm saying?
They prey off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from in saying something like that for sure, because, you know, the hard times that you go through, depending on how you approach it and come out on the other side, it could really create, you know, stronger character. Now, I think the reason why you said people probably won't like it is because we do live in a world now where um it is a whole lot more hypersensitive, and I'm aware of that too. I'm like, you know, I'm sensitive to that too. But I think that it became that way because, look, there are people that really, they don't have it in them to defend themselves, or at least they haven't realized that potential to defend themselves just yet. So those are the people that need like the voices to help them, to, you know, even
Yeah,
voices like you and
absolutely.
I to kind of uplift them, right? To kind of let them know, like, yo, okay, this dude's bullying you. What are you gonna do about it? You could sit there and take it and continue to play the victim, or you could do what you did, learn how to fight, learn how to roast, learn how to get, however you choose to
Stand up for yourself, because
stand
there's
up,
always going to be some type of bullying.
right? But there are some people too, just like you were saying, right, that start life off already at a deficit. And those are the people I feel like that don't have those voices just yet, or they don't have that inner courage just yet because they're already in the red. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying with the bully stuff for sure. And I tend to agree that it actually does, it can build character, but not all forms, not all cases, in my opinion, for sure.
No, absolutely
There are
not. No,
some,
not all.
especially with mental health, bro, like we've been talking about. If you are just in a bad space mentally and somebody comes and just is just constantly attacking you and you don't know how to
Oh
do it,
yeah, then
you're gonna just
then
get
you're one of
shut the
those.
hell down. And it's, man,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. But I'm
And
so
we've seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of that with
happy.
schools and everything. We've seen a lot of those instances where, it gets really ugly because some people, and I feel like, you know what? I feel like that's because they never learn how to deal with it for whatever reason. You know what I mean? A lot of times parents just don't address it, or parents don't make the children comfortable enough for them to come to them and tell them, that type of thing. And they didn't know how to deal with it. So they figured, all right, well, in the Grand Theft Auto age, you learn how to deal with stuff. And a lot of people learn their stuff from video games. And it is what it is. And I can't blame them solely, because there are other games that definitely do that type of thing. But I feel like it does desensitize you a little bit. I'm gonna give you a quick story real quick about that.
Yeah.
I don't play video games anymore. I haven't played in a couple of years because it takes away from your productivity so badly. I don't even have an updated system, to be honest. But I was playing GTA for a few days, right? And you just drive. You do what the fuck you want to do in there. You ain't worried about no traffic signals or any type of law. You disregard every single form of law and are rewarded for it. You get an adrenaline rush. So, a lot of times when I drive, I just on autopilot. And, you know, I think I ate like 2 lights, bro. Inadvertently. Like, just because I was into the Grand Theft Auto so much that,
Wow.
there's no consequence. So I'm in real life and I'm just, I'm running like, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm over here running lights in real life. All right, fuck GTA for now, man. Like, so that won't be the only instance. You know all the other things that you can do in GTA. So
Yeah.
I feel like if that could happen to me in that way, I'm sure that it can desensitize you to the point where you take some of those things into real life and you feel like it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Mine was subconsciously, but I can see it happen consciously too.
I could see that too, man. And that's very dangerous, because you imagine, like, there's little kids playing that where their brains aren't even fully developed yet, or even close to being fully developed yet. And for them to kind of see that, and it looks so real now too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could totally see how that could happen, man. And you know, that's the culture of our society too, man. And I don't want to put too much onus on our society for making us who we are, or, things like that. But it's the reality though, man. Like, even in
Yeah, it
movies for
is.
like the longest time out here, violence, you know what I'm saying? All sorts of crazy. sex sells, all this stuff, man, that, that really gets high priority. And like you said, kind of gets rewarded because, the attention that it's getting, it generates income. And, I'm by all means, I am firmly a supporter of our capitalistic society. I don't think there's nothing wrong with a capitalistic society at all. I believe that, especially in America out here, we have free will to really create and do what we want to do, given our intentions and everything like that. But at the same time, there are parts of capitalism that kind of, or not necessarily of capitalism, but that are birthed from capitalism that really has affected our society in some pretty negative ways. But I don't want to talk too much about that just because I feel like the stuff that I consume a whole lot more, and I can tell you're the type of guy too, man, that you're very mindful of trying to protect your energy. I can sense that, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Because I'm very much the same way. I used to play video games.
You kind of have you have to. Yeah,
it goes back to you got to protect your energy, right? I don't watch the news. I don't do none of that stuff, man. I'm really in my own lane, bro. And in terms of really trying to elevate myself, trying to give myself new skills, keep my mind sharp, keep my body sharp,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Stay strong, all that stuff. And I think that going back to what you're saying on an astrological level and on like a spiritual level, I really believe that we have been for some time now in the midst of this huge shift, that's trying to move us in a completely different direction. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you sense that or if
definitely. That's definitely what I was saying. And my co-host, by the way, Layla Gray, she's actually into that. She's a certified priestess. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but she does like, work and everything, light work, not dark work, but light work and stuff. So she's very much into that. She gave me a little bit of insight of what was happening for this year. Because sometimes I consult with her like, hey, what the hell does this mean or whatever? Because she's been studying it for years. Like she actually, is able to monetize her skills. She's that good. So she does her readings and all that stuff too. So
incredible.
Yeah, so she told me, she was like, yeah, this is a lot is happening beginning of this year. Just with the numbers is one thing, the way the planets are aligned, and it's a lot going on. So it's some things. For some people, it's going to be really good. For some people, not so good, unfortunately. But so far, it really looks like the trajectory of my life path has changed a bit. You know what I mean? Like, but it's only up and up. So far, so good. And not just by itself. I'm definitely putting forth more effort than I have, and just doing as much as I can, trying to squeeze in gym time, taking care of my body, reducing the amount of sugar I intake, just to everything, man. I need tenacity. I need focus. I need drive. So anything that would hinder that needs to be deleted, and anything that would aid that needs to be increased.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that ties into, I think that one of the tweets I seen that you posted, man. I think it was probably the same one where you were talking about you didn't drink for New Year's Eve and stuff like that. I think it was tied into just because your goals and your vision has become much larger.
In order
to manifest that, right? Like it's going to require you to be somebody completely and totally different.
Yep. To level up. And it's
what are you doing for yourself, man?
As
far as like self-care and stuff like that, man, in order to kind of maintain that energetic level that you feel like you need to bring about the vision that you have.
All right, well, Virgos are known to be like perfectionists, and I've actually looked into like everything. There's the Chinese sign, and then there's some other zodiac sign where I don't know, I'm like a knife combined with the Virgo, and then there's like the goat, and you know what I mean, all these things. And when you there was like a thing that put them all together and pretty much read me like exactly what type of character I'm. So perfectionist is one of them. We can never be perfect, but I'm on an endless pursuit of perfection. So, you know what I'm saying? So just even my morning regimen, man. I get up, try to consume a few calories, make sure I'm hydrated, do my 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, my zinc, the multivitamins, maybe some Irish sea moss, and just get my mind right. You know what I mean? Give myself enough time to make sure I'm good. Always start fresh. That shower at night shit don't work for me. I need a fresh start. You know what I
Same.
mean? Never ever do. Yo, there's certain days I'll do 3 showers, man. And listen,
Same.
I take I take time, bro. I
Something
take
about that water
time.
is rejuvenating, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It can be. So, I mean, I take time with everything, man. Like, I'm not one of the dudes who will run out of the house without lotion. None of that shit, bro. Yo, I pay attention to detail down to fingernails, make sure those are groomed and cut. Like, you know, hair, I take time with everything, bro. Skincare, all of that stuff. By the way, we actually do an oil, me and my homegirl, Miss Lady C. It's called Claudian Paris Organics, and it's like a beard oil. I never had a beard. If you notice, if you look down the history, I didn't have one, and then all of a sudden I just
Yeah,
got
I
one.
saw in 95 series you didn't had a beard before.
Nah, I didn't have that, but we decided to. It's hair and beard. So some people who have like light spots and stuff in their head, or like couldn't grow any type of beard or whatever. Like if you look at I had a picture on there where it was like really light and then it started filling in and everything. So if people have spots or they want their beard to go higher because it won't grow high, it won't grow good up here, but it will grow lower. You can do all of that shit. This stuff you put on, it fills it up. So that was one of the things that we're doing too. We're selling that. But just taking care of yourself, man. That's the key. I try to hit the gym. I don't have as much time as I used to. I was going really hard, but then I picked up this moonlighting job I'm doing for more bread. You know what I mean? Because I need capital. Because I play with the stocks a little bit. Not like I want to because I don't have the capital, but I've actually had some that I put in that went 6 times over. And I'm like, damn, if I would have had some real bread in there, bro. Like if I would have had some real bread in there, I'm talking about like, damn, in like 2 weeks, that shit went 6 times over. Imagine if I put some damn bread in there. Like I didn't put but so much because I didn't have the capital. So I'm like, man, I gotta get some more bread. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna just sleep less, man. So I'm down to like 3 hours. That's the only thing that I wish I could do more. However, your body, from what I learned and studied, it doesn't need 8 hours. It needs restfulness. So you can do 3 hours of sleep, but you can't stress all day. You know what I mean? You can't, your mind has to be at rest. And your body sometimes, like how I'm sitting there right now, this is kind of rested, so I'm gonna be cool. It just needs restfulness. So, but I'm usually productive during that. So I'll do things that can be productive, but won't take up a lot of my energy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna be ripping and running all day, like doing everything physical. Some things you cannot avoid, but when I can avoid it, I'll do something. But I can't be productive while I sleep. So that's why I sleep less, because 24 hours in a day is not enough, man. Bills come fast as hell. And time is going. And you gotta understand, I'm 42. So it's like I'm going against people who are coming out of college with the skill set, and they live with their parents. They don't have to worry about a mortgage. They don't have to worry about a family. They don't have to worry about children. You know what I mean? They don't have to worry about a wife or girlfriend. They're out there, man. And that's my competition. So I have to work so much harder than they are to be on par, and even harder to surpass it. You know what I'm saying? So it's no time for me to rest. How can I, if I'm already doing 2 jobs, and this person could do this shit 24/7 if they want to, with a degree behind it and no worries. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to consider that what your competition is. And I doubt if there are some people who are going to be like that, but you know, that's your competition. So you have to be conscious of that. And if I'm going against that type of shit, then I need to go as hard as I possibly can without killing myself.
And it sounds to me like you rise into every single challenge, man. I mean, and I think it takes a high level of self-awareness to understand that you're the type of person that can run off of 3 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be real with you. I can't run off of 3 hours of sleep.
It's not easy, bro. It takes training.
Yeah.
It's not easy, bro. It is conditioning, but willpower. You'd be surprised what you could do if you really feel like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just imagine. All right, I'm gonna put it into terms like this. This will resonate with most people, I feel. Have you ever been so excited to do something one day that you couldn't sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you were like a kid or something, you probably would sleep like crazy, but then you knew you were going to Six Flags or Disney or
Yeah.
whatever, and you
The
just
night
didn't
before
sleep.
Christmas or
And
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, and you woke up and you still weren't tired the whole day, right? I'm excited to be productive every day.
Mm-hmm.
And just that determination and me just anticipating what I can accomplish that day, it gives me the excitement to not be tired.
Damn. That's powerful right there. And I want to drill into that before we go into anything else, man, because I feel like I've been learning a lot about that for myself. Like, there has to be a strong enough reason for you to get up in the morning and do the things that you do. Because if it's not strong enough, you're gonna make every excuse in the book to not do what you're intended to do. So I'm curious for you, like, first of all, what is your reason? What is your why behind what you do? And how do you cultivate that, man? How do you like keep that at the forefront of everything that you do?
Well, my biggest fear is to, I mean, I don't even know if I want to describe it as a fear, but that's what I want to avoid the most is failure. And I realize the amount of tenacity that it's going to take for me to make it. It's a bit of desperation. It's a bit of determination. It's
Mm-hmm.
a bit of and don't get me wrong. I could live the simple life and just go ahead, run it out, get my pension and retire and all that. But why? You know what I mean? My parents were immigrants, right, from Guyana. They came here um, for a better life. If I don't do better than they did, then I'm a failure. And if my children don't do better than me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do better. If Why wouldn't I want to maximize my potential? Why wouldn't I want to maximize my potential? The
Wow.
simple life is not, if you know that there's more available to you and you can get it, why wouldn't you?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I can't listen, I'm the type of dude, I will never leave money on the table. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go get it if I can. Because why not? Why wouldn't you want more resources? It determines everything. And money is not everything, but almost. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's going to determine the schools that your children go to. How important is that? Is vegan food or healthy food in general is very expensive. It's going to determine what you eat. It's going to determine your health care. It's going to determine how reliable your car is. It's going to determine how comfortable your home is. How is this shit not almost everything? There's nearly People may say they don't really need these things, but why would you not want your children to have the best? Why would you not want to be able to send them to karate school or give them a craft or have a college fund for them? Why would you not want that for them? Why would you not want to make sure that your wife is good, that your wife can relax, or maybe not even have to work and spend more time with the children? Why would you not want that? You know what I mean? And these are all the things that resources can give you. You need money to do that, man. This is a capitalist society. If you have money, you're winning. If you don't, you're going to struggle, you're going to suffer. And everything that I just mentioned to me is vital. Those are essentials to me. They're very important. It's very important for family to be taken care of. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important for you to be able to consume the proper foods. You know what I'm saying? And the more money you have, the better you can eat,
Mm-hmm.
period. And your body, what you eat is going to determine it's going to determine how long you live. It's going to determine how you look, how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take it all the way to eating junk. When you think about it, I can get full as hell from McDonald's for like $3, right? I can go buy 3 cheeseburgers. I'm not gonna be full as hell, but the average person would be full as hell, right? You can go get 3 cheeseburgers and for about $3, maybe a little more, but not much more, right? 99-cent menu, boom, 3 cheeseburgers, you're full. But what's that gonna do to your tummy, man? What's that gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what's that gonna do to your body? If you eat that every day, what's that gonna be like? Now, if you go to Salad Works, why do you want $14 for a salad, man? What's up with that?
Mm.
What we doing? Like, by the time you get a salad and a bread joint, you be like $14. Damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for a salad, man. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, but this is where we live. This is how it is. And you got the government who is going to say, okay, we're going to enforce this crazy tax on soda to make it cost more. But how about you just lower or subsidize healthy food instead?
I tend to agree with that, man. And it's so interesting. I have had this discussion so many times, Trev, where, like I'm so observant of what's prioritized in today's day and age, or just like throughout my life, really, man. What you highlighted right there in terms of the prices of McDonald's food, genetically modified food versus a salad that is way healthier for you, that's gonna increase the longevity of your life, make you feel better. It's gonna present all these benefits for you. And then not only that, you're getting bombarded constantly on TV by commercials, and you're getting these heavy influencers that are just feeding you not only through your belly, but also through your mind and what you see. So it's like imprinted, and it's just like, man, I gotta go get me a cheeseburger. And then it's like, man,
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So,
and these guys, think about it. You'll see people advertise liquor. You'll see people say, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and collab with Popeyes, or oh, I'm gonna collab with McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? But healthy food, name a healthy food franchise besides, then Salad Works is like semi-healthy, because that's better, but not like, name a healthy food franchise is big. Name one.
Man, I mean, look, I'm out here in Cali, so we got a lot, but not like on a national.
Any franchise?
Nah. No,
okay.
like fast food,
You see where we at with this?
Yeah.
You see where we at with this? You see any celebrities endorsing it or coming up with collabs with them?
Sure.
I didn't want to name names and throw anybody under the bus, but I know who's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Those places that I mentioned, who's doing those places. And it's like, come on, man. What are y'all promoting? What are y'all trying to do? What are we trying to do?
And Trev, man, to that point is exactly why one of the principles I live by, or a quote that I kind of live by, is by Mahatma Gandhi, man, is be the change that you wish to see in the world. I totally do my very best to, make healthy decisions and choices and things like that. Hell, I got a kombucha right here that I'm sipping on, man. But I mean, look, I'm not trying to make no excuses, but it's hard as shit out here now.
It is hard.
Where I'm at right now, I got McDonald's on both sides of me. There's an In-N-Out. It's a Krispy Kreme. It's a Jack in the Box. It's a Taco Bell. It's a Wendy's.
Fast food.
Hell of shit. And it's so,
I'm gonna tell you though. Everything in your life is about balance, right? So you can eat like that probably twice a day. My wife is ridiculous with the healthy food. She makes sure we get a balanced meal. We got dark greens always included. Not crazy starch. If it's meat, we stop with the ground beef. We do ground turkey instead. Baby steps, you know what I'm saying? But it's usually rather healthy. We don't use a lot of salt ever. I don't even use table salt. Once in a while, I'll sprinkle a little adobo. I'll more so get into natural sweet, like honey, organic honey, and like spices. Spices are good for you. Spices will help you expel pollutants. You know what I'm saying? So, and toxins. So that is a lot better than trying to just salt your shit up and everything. You know what I mean? So all those things surround you. Just look at that. And then what type of healthy choices do you have? So sometimes you can't help but to do that. And I definitely do that. I'm a foodie guy. I was up to listen to this, 15,000 calories a day. 15,000 calories a day.
Damn.
You know what type of eating that is? I was hitting the buffet almost every day. That's what type of shit it was. I chilled out. I wasn't fat or nothing. I was the same size. But it didn't matter. Like I would just eat like that. But I really, really chilled out with that. I still have my little binges once in a while, Thanksgiving, shit like that. But I don't go hard like that anymore. It's expensive as hell, mainly why I stopped, to keep it G. But it's absolutely unhealthy. So, I calm down a lot where that's concerned. I try to eat more healthy just for longevity purposes. It hasn't caught up to me. If I still get, 120 over 80 blood pressure, my cholesterol levels cool. My weight isn't, my BMI is ideal. You know what I mean? All of that stuff is cool, but I want to keep it that way. So I don't have to struggle. I don't want to wait for it to catch me and then like, oh, I got to fix this. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay on par and already been in practice with those habits and shit before it catches up to me.
Yeah. Well, I really like what you said, man, in terms of life is balance, you know what I mean? Because I think you're absolutely right. I very much subscribe to that. And it is for me, like you gotta allow yourself the experience of being able to indulge every so often and just kind of reward yourself. But I think that is exactly it for me. I'm like, yo, okay, every so often I'm gonna go get me a In-N-Out burger. I'm gonna go get me a whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just so, but I gotta earn it. Like I gotta know that I gotta be able to look myself in the mirror that day and be like, okay, you went to the gym, you did this, you did that, you crossed out a lot of boxes that day. You were super productive. Go reward yourself with some. You know what I'm saying? Allow yourself to.
Oh, you could definitely get it off. You could definitely get it off because it all depends on what your body's going to do with it. Some people's metabolism is different. Some people's way of expelling, all those nasty chemicals differently. So you have to understand what your body's going to do. You know what I'm saying? And if you're exercising, it's a lot easier. If you drink hella water, drink a lot of water too. Drink a lot of water. If you drink a lot of water, you'll be cool. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, listen, them spices, don't sleep on them spices, bro. They help you get rid of a lot of shit.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. Hey, man, Trev, bro, I've really been enjoying this conversation with you, my G, and I definitely would like to have plenty more along, down the line, man, and definitely keep up with your progress, man. But I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know that you are a man that wears many hats. You're busy, you productive. So I don't want to take too much from that.
I'm gonna be getting it in.
Yeah, I know you are, and I appreciate you lending your time, lending your wisdom, lending your knowledge, lending your energy, man, and your spirit to be here on the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast and share that with the audience and give me a chance to get to know you. I've learned a lot today.
Cool.
And having this conversation. And I want to give you the opportunity before we get on out of here to speak on anything you feel like we might not have covered. And again, I feel like we'll be able to do this again at some point down the line, but
Oh yeah. I'll definitely keep your contact for sure. And feel free to reach out at any point, man, for whatever. It's cool.
I appreciate that, man. So before we get up out of here, man, is there something you want to kind of leave us with? Another extra little gem?
Yeah, definitely something. I'm gonna just let me see what I might have missed. So, I mean, you got my whole story down. That worked. I'm thinking like I'll just give a little bit of a game. I like giving out game because, like I said, offering enrichment is very important to me. So I'm just gonna recap a little bit of what I was saying earlier. I'm starting to see a lot more success now that I kept what was good and released what was bad. You know what I'm saying? So things that are not working for you, don't keep them around. Pay attention to the signs for real. It's nothing like intuition. When you get a bad feeling about something or you see something bad about any particular individual, then definitely do not keep them around because it's only going to hurt you in the long run, no matter what. There are some times where it's going to happen in 2 weeks. It might take 2 years. It might take 2 decades, but and sometimes you just can't work through certain issues, man. And never, ever be so ignorant or arrogant as to where you feel like your light is so brilliant that you can illuminate another. But so and definitely just try to stay as positive and as determined as possible. Another thing that I always say is learn to be a hybrid. I'm fueled by love and hate. So either one is going to motivate me. So if you want to stop me, just shut up. either one, and that probably still won't work. So just make sure that there's nothing that can get in your way. You have to be hell-bent on the idea and never, ever feel like you can't do it because you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely I'm definitely appreciative of the success that I did have. But like I said, I'm starting over. My channel right now is extremely humble. It normally takes about 2 years for a YouTube channel to grow. I had one where I did with people that grew like crazy, and it had hella views. That season finale had 1.5 million views by itself. It was to the point where we getting stopped in the street because they were recognizing, oh shit, that's a dude from that type shit. But now I started all over. It's just my face on it now. But I right now I feel like you know, I'm forging my own path, and I have a lot more individual control over my destiny. So that's what, and it's not about being selfish, but at some point, self-preservation must kick in. If you tried everything else and I put everybody in the forefront, and I was failed time and time again, I was failed, unfortunately. But it's no hard feelings to none of that. It's just lessons learned. If I probably wouldn't be to this point. Not to say that everything was all bad, but ultimately it's going to be good now. You know what I'm saying? Anybody whose path I did cross, I definitely wish them well. I hope they are also able to have individual success. But I'm definitely gonna get mine, man. That is what it is.
Awesome, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell
But
yeah.
I think I could leave you with that. But yeah, definitely appreciate you for reaching out, having me on here. You know what I mean? Good luck, and check back with me in probably 6 months. I might be in a different situation. Definitely a year.
Definitely will. I feel like you definitely will, man. Not Mike. You definitely will. The amount of work you put in, the mindset that you have, you know what I'm saying, the energy that you're putting out, the universe it rewards that, man.
I hope so.
And yeah, Trev, I firmly appreciate you being here, lending your time, man. I'm rooting for you, man. I got the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast family rooting for you too, man. Sending y'all some good energy.
Cool.
And just keep going and keep growing, my G. How
I'm
can
going
everybody reach you, man?
That's what I just was gonna ask you. All right, on all social media, whether it be TikTok, I'm on TikTok, Snapchat, Discord, Facebook. Did I say Instagram? Oh yeah, so pretty much Twitter, everything is all Trev Smoove. Is TREV_Smoove. If you're looking for me, I normally just go by Smoove. I'm slowly taking away the Trev out of it. It's gonna be just Smoove, keep it more simple for everybody. And that's really like a name that I just kind of was given by two different sets of people that didn't know each other. So I'm like, all right, I guess that must be what it is or whatever. But all right, so that's how they can find me. And definitely check out, I have a podcast. That's the one thing I'm working on right now. It's called Chew the Fact with Smoove, Smoove. And that'll be, as soon as you put that in, hopefully before you finish typing all that in, it'll pop up and you'll see my face, handsome or ugly, whatever you say. It's on there. You'll see me in a suit. That's the little avatar. And then, hopefully you find something that's interesting, compelling, and hopefully educational, informative, and entertaining. We'll see. There we go. Appreciate you for having me though. Once again, man. Definitely. Thanks for taking the time out to check me out.
Of course, Trev. Hey, man, I appreciate you again for being here, man. The knowledge that you dropped, the wisdom that you shared was very valuable. I feel like anybody that catches wind of this conversation, it can move them in a better direction. You know what I'm saying? There's something for everybody in this conversation. So I thank you for being here. Thank you for lending your time. And before we get on out of here, as we do at the end of every episode, to my Blessed Beyond Measure family, thank y'all for showing up and showing out. And, stay up and stay blessed. Peace, y'all.
All right, man. Easy.